Welcome to level 3 of Microsoft Word. In this course, we're going to be creating a hyperdoc for you to use for a lesson for the upcoming year. So just so we all have a clear understanding, a hyperdoc is an interactive activity for your students to work on that's completely digital. They are founded by using some kind of word processor, so using Microsoft Word, for example. But in a hyperdoc, you have interactive things like videos, you have activities they can do, you have hyperlinks out to other places. It's not just a list of links out to other sites. There's actually stuff that they interact with on your hyperdoc. So I do have an example of a hyperdoc down here that I want to show you. So this example of a hyperdoc I put together on geometric solids. Now, when you do a hyperdoc, you want to keep in mind the lesson sequence you want to have. You want to have a beginning, middle, and end to your hyperdoc. So you want it to be kind of an independent lesson. So up here, I start with the guiding question, what is a geometric solid? And then I have a video embedded right in here for kids to click and watch. Then I have them interacting with that video. So they have to write a definition of a geometric solid right here. So you can kind of see I have a video and they're interacting with it. This is what kind of brings that hyperdoc to life. It can't be replicated on paper because they can't watch this video on paper and then write it here. So it's something that kind of is digital and brings that lesson to life. After that, I have a link here they can click on, which brings them to a resource on the topic we're studying. So I could have them review that. And then I have them use that knowledge to do an activity. So now I have these images and I have these 3D models in here that they can click and drag into this table for examples and non-examples. So this is them interacting with the document again based on information that they've learned. So then I have another hyperlink in here that brings them into another activity they could complete. This one is dealing with, again, geometric solids, but you can see a 3D modeling activity here. And then from there, they're going to interact with that by writing a new definition. Then finally, we get to some of the extended learning where they're going to look at different geometric solids and try to figure out the edges, faces, and vertices of each. And that can be used to build on to find the formulas or algorithms they can use to find those in the future. And then we kind of have a closing. So we look at those, we look at an image that I inserted, and then there's a place for them to actually draw. So they can either draw with touch or they can draw with their mouse, but they can draw right on this document. So again, this is something that can't be replicated on paper. It involves like some multimedia, some stuff, some interactive things they have to do. So this is an example of what a hyperdoc would look like. Now I'm going to show you how to build some of these components. So when you build your own, you know how to get some of these in there. So looking at the task that we have, you need to include a video, hyperlinks, table, images, 3D models, and a drawing, and then you have to have something interactive in your hyperdoc that you submit for this activity. Make it something that you're going to use in a lesson. Make it something that's going to be beneficial for your time. So I'm going to show you how to create each of those elements. So I have a Word doc I started. You're just going to open up a brand new Word doc and you can start yours. So the first thing I want to talk about are inserting videos. So to insert a video, you just need to click where you want that video, and if you go to insert, and then I use this online video part. So all you'd have to do is get the link from a YouTube video or one of your stream videos, anything that's hosted online. Click on online video and you paste that link right in there. And that's actually going to embed that video right into your hyperdoc. So you'll be able to, kids will be able to click on and view it right from that doc and not have to go to that website. I like to center my videos. You can expand the size. These act just like an image. So that's how you insert a video. All it is insert and then online video right there. We'll let you put one in. The next one I want to talk about are hyperlinks. So a hyperlink is a clickable text or object that'll bring students to a different resource. So for text, if I wanted to hyperlink to a specific website, I could put my text there, if I spell it correctly. And now I'm just gonna go pull a website that deals with that topic. So I just copied that link. Now all I have to do is highlight that, right click, and I'm gonna click on link. Now when I do that, I get this box. I want to be on the existing files or web pages. And then if I just paste that link right here into this address, click OK, you can see that changed. Now it's hyperlinked. So now when students do the control click, it'll bring up that into a new window on their browser. So that's doing it with text. If you have an image in here or an object, so I'm just going to insert a shape in there real quick. It's the same process. All you have to do is right click on it and go to link, and then you'd paste that website right in there. And now that is hyperlinked to a certain website there. So you can do it with text or images. Alright, now moving on to the next part, talking about tables. Tables for HyperDocs are really important. You can see that the example that I had for you is built in a table. The reason I do that is because it makes it a lot easier for organizing, and it makes it a lot more easily understood for students where to respond. The one thing about a HyperDoc is you want it to be as much as possible self-guided. So if it's not clear where students are supposed to type or where students are supposed to do different things, you kind of lose some of that. So having that table helps me designate certain places for students to write or do certain things. So the activity I showed in the example document was a sorting activity. So I'm going to show you how to make that sorting activity real quick. But before I do that, I already kind of see here, I'm going to run out of space. I don't have enough space to work here in my table to have it all fit on one page. So what we can do is we can actually have this automatically start on the next page. So if I put my cursor where I want it to split, I can go up to Insert, Page Break, and it's automatically going to move to the next page. So even if I expand this up here, it's not going to get bumped around from formatting. It's going to stay right at the top of that page. So now I'm going to put a table in here for sorting. So I'm going to go to Insert again. I'm going to go to Table. And I'm doing a sorting one, so I want it to be a 2x. I'm actually going to make this 3 rows. Now this is going to be a sorting activity. So in my first box up here, I actually need to make that merge. So I'm going to go to Layout, and I'm going to merge those together to give them their item bank so that they can sort from. Now here are going to be examples, so these will be geometric solids, and these will be non-examples, so not geometric solids. And give them some space to put different shapes in. Alright. So now I have my item bank where I'm going to have the materials I need to sort, and here are their 2 categories. So now we got to work on finding our items to put in here. So I am doing shapes, so I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to start with shapes. I'm going to click on a rectangle first. I'm going to put a rectangle in there for him. Now you can see that automatically brought me to this shape format. So now I can just choose my next shapes over here and put those in. So now the next thing I need to do is put in my geometric solids. So Microsoft Word has this cool thing called 3D models. And this is where you can actually get interactive models of different things, and one thing they have are geometric solids. So I'm going to go ahead and click that geometric or 3D models, and the category I'm going to look for down here are 3D shapes. So now I have all these 3D shapes to choose from, so I'm going to choose a few that I want to use for this activity. Put a pyramid in there and a cone. So I'm going to insert those 4. So now the thing about these, because they're 3D models, is you can click and you can drag and you can manipulate them, and you can kind of see all angles of them. So now I can resize that to fit in my box the way I want to. Here's my pyramid. I can click it and move it around. That's my rectangular prism. That one up there. I'm just kind of fitting these into my box. And get my pyramid up in there now. Resize it a little bit. There we go. I can always make this bigger to help give me some space. Alright, so now I have my item bank for them to choose from. Now they would have to click and drag these to where they belong. So if that goes there, they just click and move it around. So this is a way for them to be a little interactive with the activity that I have for them. So that's putting a table in there. We do have our table properties that we can adjust. So if I wanted to kind of make these match and put a fill in there, I could fill that so that they know they were headers and they would know where to drop things. Alright, so that's putting tables in. The next thing we're going to look at is our inserting images. So images, we have a few options. If I have an image that I have in my computer, if I go to insert, I go to pictures, I can do from this device, and I can choose any image that I have in my pictures and put it right in there. Let's say I have this basketball, I could put that in. There we go. I have that picture of a basketball in there now. Now we can also put online pictures in there. So if I go to pictures and I click that, I have the option of online pictures. And the online pictures brings up a huge bank of images that you can choose from. They're categorized, or you can search it. So you could search Geometric Solid if you want to here. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these. The great thing about these is that they're Creative Commons only. So that means the free use on them is open, so I don't have to worry about copyrights. So I'm going to click that one, insert it, and it's going to come right into there. Now I can resize it to make it fit better, and there it is. So one thing about this, I'm going to expand that just so you can see. The cool thing about doing that online pictures is that it comes with my source right away on it. So even if it was a copyright, I would have that source in there, so I'd be more compliant. Alright, so those are online pictures. You can find those again under Insert, Pictures, Online Pictures. Now you also can insert icons. There's a whole list of icons you can use in here. These are just kind of stock things that they have. And they do have charts, which you can get into if you want to. You would have the option to do a screenshot here as well. So if there's something on your computer you're doing, you could always insert a screenshot. So you could screen clip. All you'd have to do is drag and drop, and it would insert that screen clip right in there for you too. So those are all very easy ways to get images right into your HyperDoc. The next thing I want to talk about are the 3D models. The 3D models are something that they're phenomenal because a lot of them are interactive, and they can just really help bring a lesson to life. So 3D models are again under that insert. If you go to the 3D models, you have a whole bank to choose from. Some really good ones in this animated. Animated means they move. So if you are studying plate tectonics, you could put this in here. It's going to load. And this, you can see, is actually playing an animation as it's going. So you could have that inserted right in there for students to see and have a little bit more experience with. They can rotate it to see how different things interact and keep going. There's a bunch of other 3D models in here. They really work well for science concepts. I really like them for science concepts, but they can also just be fun too. So we do have this animated animals and you click on this, I'll show you my favorite one. It's this little pug. I'm a pug owner. So you could have this in there, and all it is a pug blowing up a bubble and floating to the top. But again, it's fully interactive. They can move around, it plays. There we go. You can always stop that. You're good to go. So those 3D models, again, can spice up your lesson a little bit and add some stuff for your students to do. The next thing I want to talk about, and the final thing, are drawings. The Draw tab is a feature that is only available, it only comes preloaded on touchscreen devices. So all of our high school devices will have access to that Draw tab, but the middle school devices and teacher devices, it may not be automatic. So I want to show you real quick how to get this Draw tab up at the top on your ribbon. You can see on mine, I have it up here. So to get this up here on yours, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to File. You'll have to go down to Options at the very bottom. And then you're going to be looking at Customize Ribbon. So if I look at this Customize Ribbon, I have all of the popular commands over here, and if I click this little drop down, I actually have all commands. There's a lot of stuff in Microsoft that doesn't show up automatically, and you can customize what comes up here. So right now these are all the options, and on the right hand side, that's what I actually have listed up there. So you can see on mine, and on yours probably, you probably have this draw. If it's checked, what I want you to do is uncheck it and check it again, and that'll make it active for you. So I'm going to show you real quick. So if you look up here on my ribbon, I have that draw tab available. If I uncheck that and click OK, you're going to notice that that disappears. It's not there anymore. To get it back, all I have to do is go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon, check that Draw tab, push OK, and now it's back. So with Word, they do have the option to ink in here, so they can actually click this Draw at any time and choose whichever they wanted to draw with, pick it and draw it. But you can also throw in a canvas, so if you wanted a place for them to draw, you can just click that drawing canvas. It's going to throw in a little box for you, so now you have the ability to draw right inside that box. So you can draw with your mouse. If you have a touch screen, you can draw with your touch screen. But that drawing feature again helps make this a little more meaningful. I know math is one where being able to draw or ink is very important, but being able to draw their own picture really shows a deeper level of learning too. Alright, so I showed all the parts on there. We looked at videos, tables, hyperlinks, images, 3D models, and drawings. So your HyperDoc that you create will have to have all of those pieces. Now, once you create your HyperDoc, your lesson that you want to send to your students, what you'll have to do is you'll have to save that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you Save As. I'm going to save it in My Documents. And this is going to be my HyperDoc lesson. I'm going to save it. So now I know that's in my documents. So now when I go back to the assignment, all I have to do is click Add Work. I'm going to find that document. It's going to be upload from this device. And there it is right there. It's in My Documents over here. HyperDoc lesson. Open that. It's going to load into there. And now that is attached, I'm good to go. I can double check my rubric to make sure I have all the pieces I need to have on there and click Turn In. Alright, so that's it for level 3. I really look forward to seeing all your HyperDocs. This is a really easy, fast way to get some interactive with lessons, not only with the content, but also integrating that technology and some of the cool things we can do with that. Thank you, and congratulations on completing level 3.